Good morning. Got a busy day planned today, lots of jobs to do. So let's get rolling. Here's job number one. Gotta work on the patio a little bit. We got some of our pavers that have caved in a little bit. We've had some washout with the rain. So I gotta rip all of that out, pull it back, and see exactly how much fill I'm gonna need. You ready for a break, Ford? I think you're ready for a break. I'm not sure exactly how much of this is washed out. I mean, obviously in here it's washed out, but if you look at some of these other seams in here, down in here, it might be all the way back into here. Hopefully not though, because that's gonna be a pain in the butt if I have to pull all of that out and try and get all these blocks back in the same spot. The hard part's going to be this underneath here, because all of that's washed out. I don't know if you can see it underneath the deck there, but all of that's washed out, and I'm going to have to pull all of these blocks out, probably at least back here, and then get some base material, fill all of that back in, pack it down with my hand packer, and then put the block in, and hopefully that'll keep it steady, and fill it in with some polymeric sand, and hopefully it'll fare a little bit better going forward. So before I pull the block out, I'm going to go and pull back this rock along the edging here, and I'm going to have to crawl underneath the steps there and try and pull some of that back too, so I can fill the base material all the way back, because if it's low here and I just fill on this side, it's just going to probably wash back out. So I'm going to have to pull all of that back a little bit and see what I'm up against. Well, that part's not as bad as I thought it would be, or as bad as I was afraid it would be. I don't know if you can see that, but looks like we've got maybe, I don't know, 3 inches of washout there. So all that's going to have to be filled in. But it's not quite as bad as I thought it was going to be. But I definitely need to get some more base material. I mean, you can just see this should be hard as rock, and it's just sand, and so I'll have to get some good base material and really pack it in there. All right, let's start trying to pull some of this block out. I've never really done this before, so this is going to be a bit of trial and error, I'm afraid. It's maybe not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But this is going to be a bit of a jigsaw puzzle to try and get this back together. Doesn't look like it's really washed out underneath here too bad. I think if I just put a little bit more base material and sand in there, probably got to pull this block out too. But I think I should be able to fill that in fairly easily. I mean, it's a little bit more on that end, a little bit more washed out. What concerns me is this piece under the steps here, because if I just fill out in here and I don't figure out how to stop it from washing back into here, all of this material is just going to keep going under the deck there, and I don't know how to stop that from happening. Underneath the steps here, I think maybe the right thing to try and do is to try and pull this rock back a little bit, a couple feet maybe, and then fill that up with base material so that it's actually higher than where that bottom of the step comes out, and that'll hopefully keep it from washing. The problem is how in the heck am I going to pack base material underneath here? That is chewing my hands up. I gotta figure out a little bit better plan for that. But got most of the rock pulled out. Thinking I might want to pull this back. Oh, I don't know. Maybe pull this back a little bit further this way so I can put more base material in here too. Really try and keep it from washing in the future. Now hopefully when I pull all these blocks out, I tried to line them up on the patio the way I pulled them out so that I should be able to get them back in the same order, but I took some pictures before too, so make sure I get the puzzle back together right. And I'm probably going to have to get a masonry chisel or something and try and clean up these edges, get this old sand off of them all so that I can fit them back together nice. But I guess the good news is it's not nearly as bad as I had feared. So hopefully this will be a project I can get done today. Now it's off to Home Depot to get the base material and the sand and stuff I need. And as long as I'm there, buy supplies for the next 2 or 3 projects that I'm going to be doing. Generally when I do these projects I end up doing at least a couple runs, but hopefully we'll get it all in one run today. Well, it took longer at Home Depot than it was supposed to. One thing I needed, leveling sand, and they're out of it. Had to wait for the guy with the forklift to get more in from the outside. It took me about an hour, which I didn't really have today. And now hopefully I can just get it all done. Well, that should do it. hopefully. So here's the leveling sand that we're going to be using. And I bought 5 bags of it, but now that I'm home and looking at it again, I probably won't need all 5, but it's always better to have more than less, I guess. Alright, so I got most of this packed in and leveled, but until I figure out how to solve this problem underneath the steps, I'll show you from the back side, can't really go much further. Alright, so here's the issue. See if I can get you guys down there. You can kind of see where level's at there. And if I don't fill this area here in with something, you can see where I've leveled that off. If I don't fill this in with something, all that's just going to keep settling this way. So I've got to figure out a solution. And here's what I got. I don't know if this is going to work, if this is going to be the right solution or not, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill that gap in underneath there and build as much of a berm with this polymeric sand as I can, and hopefully that'll set hard and prevent the other sand from eventually settling back out underneath the steps. We'll see how it goes. Alright, now I got my ridge of polymeric sand. I think I'm going to try and fill the rest of this gap here with just regular base material. Hopefully that will help this all to lock in. Hopefully. I don't know what I'm doing. Just learn as I go, right? Try and get that packed as much as I can. And then after I'm done, I'm going to have to come back in here with a garden hose because this stuff sets with water. so I'm gonna have to get it wet. But first I gotta get the base material down. Hopefully that's enough sand underneath there. I've got it built up all the way to that edge. You can see it's starting to squirt out there. So hopefully once I pack it all together, hopefully that'll hold and keep it from settling. What an ugly job crawling under that deck. Alright, that should do it for the paver sand. I'm going to have to do some touch-ups as I go here and make sure all the blocks get leveled, but I think I'm about ready to start setting the blocks. Now, I just have to figure out how to get the old polymeric sand off of here, and we're going to try it with a little hammer and chisel action. Hopefully it just scrapes right off. Well, that actually comes off a lot easier than I thought it would. Alright, one down. All the rest of those and those to go. All right, that's enough to get me started. Time for a little break. looking good so far. Not too shabby. But here's what I'm thinking. I don't know if you can see this on here, but right by that level there, right where that brick comes down there, these are starting to sag a little bit too. So I'm thinking maybe I should pull out these right here and fix that while I'm at it. Bummer. I think if I just pull these here. That is a bummer, but I think it's the right thing to do. Well, maybe just these. Leave this one, because I think it's just this one here that's sagging. Yeah, I think. Maybe I'll just pull these three out too. Filling in some of the bigger cracks with a little bit of extra sand here, and then I'll put the polymeric sand on to seal up the joints. go. All the blocks are placed back in. Reasonably level with minimal sagging. Now, I'm going to put this edge back across here, and in order to do that, I've got to get these big stakes out of this piece of plastic without busting it. What are the odds I'm going to do that? As long as I got a little bit of sand left, I think I'm going to put just a little bit more in here and tamper down. Kind of ironic that you've got to sweep it off so that you can pour more sand all over it. It's time to get our polymeric sand down. Fill in all those cracks. We got some rocks. There you go, little buddies. Alright, so the final step here is to wet down the polymeric sand. It's what activates it and makes it stick, but I'm not really sure how much water you're supposed to put down, so I'm not going to go too crazy with it and just kind of try and mist it a little bit. I really don't want to wash it all out. show you something. So now that I've done this, it's light mist. You can actually see it settling down into the cracks nice, but it's exposing more depth in the cracks. So it looks like the guy needs to do this a couple times. So get the sand back out and do her again. Alright, here's the finished product. Got some water on there. Don't have any visible cracks showing yet, so we'll call this done for now. And then later on, I'll probably come and have to sweep it off. But right now, we're calling her done. Alright, project number 1 is done. On to project number 2. Got to run over to a friend's house and fertilize their yard and spray for weeds. So we're going to go get that knocked out, get a double dose of fertilizer down, and move on to the next one.